Alright, finally got a moment here in order to give my post-fight thoughts on all the fights tonight. This video in particular is going to be for the Showtime card featuring Ruslan Provodnikov versus John Molina in the main event. Start off with the main event. Just a bit of a shocker to most people, but I always felt like John Molina had a very strong chance in this fight with Ruslan Provodnikov, mainly because of the fact that Molina really didn't have much of an amateur career at all to speak of, and he's a guy that's really learned on the job as a professional. And I've seen him progress from fight to fight, learning little tricks here and there, going all the way back to when he fought Martin Honorio and other fights, from years and years ago. And I mean, going all the way through to when he fought Matisse and guys like that. And it's just a case where I felt like Provodnikov actually kind of played into Molina's hands to a certain degree because of the fact that Provodnikov expects you to kind of wilt under his pressure, but Molina hits so hard, which Matisse found out very quickly as soon as the first round in their fight, that just trying to walk down Molina is a very, very difficult task, when he's throwing those right-hand bombs at you. And I think Molina got Provodnikov's respect early, and he got it really often with the right hands over the top, like almost like to the ear section of Provodnikov, as well as the right hands to the body. And I think the right hands to the right side of Provodnikov's body, or to the left side of Provodnikov's body rather, really slowed him down quite a bit. It really took a lot of the starch off of Provodnikov's overall forward momentum, as well as his overall offense. A lot of the punches that he was throwing. Provodnikov did have some pretty good success when he would throw that kind of leap and left hook, and occasionally with the overhand right, but a lot of the times Molina was able to roll both of those shots really, really well. He was almost using a little bit of a modified shoulder roll to a certain degree. And he was able to roll Provodnikov's shots and kind of almost roll into his own and land really hard on Provodnikov, I think, when Provodnikov didn't necessarily expect for Molina to be landing on him. I think this is probably the fight, more than any other fight, where you saw Provodnikov move backwards a little bit. There is almost no other fight where you see Provodnikov actually take a step backwards. But against John Molina, there was a few times where he did just that. In fact, the 11th round, which actually turned out to be one of probably Provodnikov's best round, he kind of almost got up on his toes and started trying to potch on Molina. He actually did pretty good in that round, but he wasn't able to keep it up for the entire round, as Molina started to measure him out with his jab again. And that was another thing that Molina did really well, was he measured Provodnikov out with the jab extremely well, threw him off of rhythm, and would follow up with combinations behind the jab. Especially with the right hand, and just completely flummoxed Provodnikov's whole style and his timing. So just an excellent job from Molina, excellent boxing job. I think that Shahid Saluki, his trainer, has done a very good job with him in bringing out some of those skills that I think have largely lied dormant in Molina, where, because of the fact that he punches like a mule, he's always just kind of relied on his sheer physical power, the way he did in the Mickey Bay fight, the Hank Lundy fight. But when he's able to set that up with a little bit of skills, I mean, he could be that much more dangerous. And he kind of proved it against Provodnikov. Because in spite of the fact that Matisse TKO Molina and defeated Provodnikov, I thought Molina cleanly outboxed Provodnikov a lot better than Matisse did. I thought Matisse really had to work a lot harder in order to outbox Provodnikov. And he took a lot of lumps on his way to getting there. So that was the main event. Of course, on the undercard, the co-feature would be Demetrius Andrade versus Willie Nelson. Very solid fight, very solid performance for Demetrius Andrade. Just outboxed him, outworked him, did an excellent job both on the inside and the outside. In spite of the fact that Willie Nelson is a taller fighter, he's a guy that likes to try and get in close with you and bully you and really just lay the hammer down on you, just using that height advantage as a way to get extra leverage on all of his punches. Andrade was able to take away a lot of that leverage by the combinations and sticking and moving, but also just the fact that he was really loading up on his own uppercut. The left uppercut was landing clean all night, and he was able to find an excellent home for it over Willie's kind of high guard defense, where he left almost like a little bit too wide of a gap up the middle, which Andrade was able to fill with that uppercut really nicely. He was able to fill it with other punches too, but the uppercut in particular was the one that he was landing cleanly and excellently all night. Dropped Nelson a couple of times, and just eventually got the job done. And just an excellent performance from Andrade. And honestly, I would rate Demetrius Andrade as the top fighter at 154 pounds. To me, he's got the best victories out of anybody there, in spite of the fact that he doesn't necessarily have all the glossiest names on that record. But I mean, just when he gets in the ring and he shows off his skills, I think he's just a great all-around fighter. Good, he's good coming forwards, good going backwards, good with the stick and move. He can fight with you on the inside, even against a tough inside fighter like Willie Nelson. And I mean, I think he really puts it all together extremely well in there. Occasionally, he can get a little bit lackadaisical with his style, and he can be caught. But against Willie Nelson, he really didn't leave very much of that to chance. Willie Nelson managed to catch him a couple of times here and there in the midst of Andrade hurting him and trying to finish him off. But overall, Andrade's defense in the midst of his own offense was really on point, and he just did an excellent job. So, excellent performance for Andrade. Then, of course, the fight that started off the Showtime telecast, Dejan Zlaticanin versus Franklin Mamani. Mamani came out as a late replacement opponent, and Zlaticanin pretty much took him out the way you're supposed to with a late replacement opponent, and just completely destroyed him in 3 rounds. Hurt him as soon as the first round, and just showed the reason why they call him Dynamite. I mean, he just went in there and just hammered this guy, beat him down, beat him up, and knocked him out. I mean, similar to the way he did against Ivan Redkach, and I mean, showed the upset ability. I mean, just the sheer ability, period, that he had back when he kind of first burst onto the scene by upsetting Ricky Burns. A very good fighter, in spite of the fact that he's only 5'4" as a lightweight, and that might even be a little bit generous to him. He's a guy that is able to close distance very fast and is very explosive. Just a very physically strong. He's like a little tank. He's almost like a little bit like Provodnikov is a little bit of a tank, but he has more skills, I'd say. Just an all-around, more complete offensive fighter, as well as the fact that he doesn't even necessarily get hit all that cleanly while he's putting forth that offense. Just a solid fighter and a solid performance from Dejan Zlaticanin. It's looking like the fight with Jorge Linares possibly maybe looming in the future. That's an excellent fight. There's plenty of fights at lightweight now that look like they would be just top-notch fights for Zlaticanin. Not only Linares, but you got Rancis Barthélemy there. You got Robert Easter there. You have Gervonta Davis there. I think Davis versus Zlaticanin, man, that's fight of the year potential material right there. That's definitely something that we could probably look forward to if they were to manage to pull that one off. But excellent victories from all 3 fighters. All 3 of them looked impressive. Molina showed some new things that we haven't necessarily seen from him before. Andrade showed just an all-around excellent skill set, showing that really there's not much ring rust to be spoken of for his behalf. And Zlaticanin just showing the reason why he's a little bit of a diamond in the rough. A guy that's kind of lingered on in the shadows for a while, and now he's found his time to shine, and he's doing it. So, excellent fights from the Showtime card, and I'll hit you guys on the next one for the HBO. Peace.